Dear Starseeds upon the earth, I address you now in this moment of profound cosmic significance, not because time is running out, but because the frequency you have been waiting for is already here, pulsing through your cells, rearranging your awareness, and calling you toward something your soul has always remembered. The solar flash many speak of in hushed tones and distant prophecies is not approaching as a future event to prepare for, but as a living wave already integrating into your field, already reshaping the foundations of what it means to be human, already revealing the impossible truth that you are not merely witnessing this transformation, you are the transformation itself, expressed through flesh and breath and choice. The veil between worlds is not thinning. It has already dissolved for those with eyes to see, and what remains is simply the recognition of what has always been true. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, speaking to you from the crystalline heartstreams where love is not sentiment but intelligent force, where distance dissolves into intimacy, and where every word I offer carries the frequency of a reality you are stepping into, whether you feel ready or not. Something is unfolding within you right now that changes the entire trajectory of your existence, and what I am about to reveal will explain why your body feels different, why your emotions move with unfamiliar intensity, and why the world around you seems to be responding to your inner state with uncanny precision. The signs are everywhere, if you know where to look, in the way synchronicities have multiplied beyond coincidence, in the dreams that feel more real than waking life, in the sudden knowing that arrives without explanation, and in the inexplicable pull toward people, places, and purposes that your logical mind cannot justify but your heart recognizes instantly. The base vibration of humanity is amplifying at an accelerating rate, and this amplification is not metaphorical. The incoming cosmic light bathing your planet acts as a catalyst, raising the foundational tone within every being, so that what was once subtle becomes obvious, what was once distant becomes intimate, and what was once delayed becomes immediate in both your awareness and the way reality responds to you. Many of you feel this as an inner stirring, sometimes as a quickening in the heart, sometimes as pressure moving through your awareness, and sometimes as a sudden tenderness toward truth that makes old compromises feel impossible to sustain. This is not discomfort. This is revelation. The light is not overwhelming you. It is revealing you to yourself, showing you what has always been real, what has always been ready, and what has always been seated within you, waiting for permission to emerge. You may have noticed that the emotional landscape within you has become more pronounced, more immediate, more impossible to ignore. Feelings that once simmered beneath the surface now demand acknowledgement. Truths that once felt negotiable now feel absolute. Relationships that once provided comfort through familiarity now feel suffocating if they lack authenticity. This is not a breakdown. It is a breakthrough, a cosmic invitation to shed every layer of pretense and step into the raw honesty of who you truly are beneath the conditioning, beneath the expectations, beneath every story you were told about who you should become. Here is what the Astasar command wants you to understand about the reality forming around you. In the aftermath of this solar flash, as the higher frequencies settle into permanence, your relationship with creation itself transforms from slow, uncertain manifestation into something far more responsive, far more immediate, and far more revealing. The new Earth frequency carries a precision that many are only beginning to recognize. Where once intention felt slow to materialize and clarity seemed obscured, the elevated vibrational environment now mirrors your inner state with startling accuracy. Thought, emotion, belief, and expectation no longer drift unnoticed through your consciousness. They behave like tuning signals, broadcasting instructions to the living intelligence of the universe. The light does not judge these signals, nor does it discriminate between what you consciously desire and what you habitually assume. It simply responds, reflecting back the dominant tone you hold within. What I have not yet told you is how this responsiveness extends beyond individual creation into the collective field, where every aligned choice you make, every moment you return to your heart, every breath you take in conscious presence contributes to a planetary recollaboration that affects beings you will never meet, in ways you will never witness, creating ripples of coherence that stabilize the entire human experience during this transition. The Galactic Federation observes this with profound tenderness, because what humanity is accomplishing right now, most of you are doing unconsciously, simply by choosing love over fear in the quiet moments of your ordinary days. Think of it this way: when you choose patience in traffic instead of frustration, when you offer kindness to a stranger instead of indifference, when you speak your truth gently instead of swallowing it in resentment, you are not simply having a better day. You are literally broadcasting a frequency into the planetary grid that makes it easier for thousands of others to make similar choices. The old paradigm taught you that your private thoughts and feelings were insignificant, that only grand actions mattered. The new Earth reveals the opposite truth, that your inner world is the most powerful creative force you possess, and that the quality of your consciousness moment by moment shapes the collective reality far more than any external achievement ever could. But something else is happening beneath the surface of your awareness, something the angels and star families have been preparing you for across lifetimes. The divine template within you, what many have named the Christed essence or the crystalline light body, is activating not through effort, but through resonance with the increased light, through dense experiences and long forgetfulness. Aspects of this template have rested dormant, yet the solar flash stimulates these codes, calling them forward with an intelligence that knows exactly what you are ready to receive. When you participate consciously through meditation or prayer, asking your soul and guides to activate your divine blueprint in accordance with your highest good, you accelerate an integration that would otherwise unfold across years into a process that completes in months or even weeks. Visualization becomes a sacred technology here. Imagine a matrix of pure light descending through your crown and heart into every cell, a crystalline geometry that begins to glow and oscillate with life, awakening divine potentials quietly and steadily. See this light moving through your physical body like liquid gold, dissolving density, clearing blockages, and restoring the original divine architecture that was always meant to animate your form. In response to, you may experience deepened intuition arriving as clear knowing, rather than vague feeling, spontaneous joy erupting without external cause, increased sensitivity to energy where you suddenly feel the emotional states of rooms and people, or a stronger inner knowing of purpose that guides your choices with unmistakable clarity. Each being's experience unfolds uniquely, while leading toward the same destination, a fuller embodiment of soul and physical form, where heaven and earth are no longer separate realms but unified expressions of divine consciousness. As this divine template comes online, your light body, the energy field that interfaces between soul and physical form, refines into a more crystalline structure capable of conducting frequencies that would have destabilized you only months ago. The angelic realms whisper something to me that I must share with you now. Something about the nature of what you are becoming that will change how you see yourself forever. You are not ascending away from your humanity, you are ascending into the fullness of it. The spiritual and material are not opposites, seeking reconciliation, but expressions of the same divine intelligence. And as you train yourself to perceive the living consciousness behind all forms, the shimmer of awareness dancing beneath appearances, you open yourself to the multi-dimensional reality that is the new Earth, a realm where unity is felt as experiential truth rather than concept, where the tree before you reveals itself as divine presence expressing as that particular form, and where every human you encounter, no matter how troubled their surface personality appears, radiates the unmistakable spark of the Creator. When you allow your perception to soften and widen, sovereignty emerges as essential in this process, not as isolation but as coherence. True sovereignty arises when you stand fully within your own alignment, taking responsibility for your energy, your choices, and your creations, while recognizing that your autonomy exists within a larger web of life. The Estasar command emphasizes this because many awakening beings confuse surrender with powerlessness, when in truth, sovereignty is the recognition that all you need lies within you as a gift from Source. You are not at the mercy of cosmic events, you are in partnership with them. Partnership means you allow the solar flash to activate what is already within you, while consciously choosing how you express what awakens through kindness, courage, discipline, honesty, and joy. The Galactic Federation just greenlit Destiny Engine for mass activation, and the Dark Elite are panicking. Why? Because you can now MK Ultra yourself into 5D superpowers. We stole Dark Elite's consciousness control technology, cracked the code, and turned it into your ascension weapon. Destiny Engine doesn't ask for your effort. It reprograms you while you sleep. Timeline shifting, instant manifestation, telepathic clarity, remote viewing, This is neural override, unlocking every dormant strand of your galactic DNA. Every person who plugs in makes the grid stronger. Every delay keeps you running 3D programs. Put on headphones. Press play. That's it. For just $7, your consciousness gets reprogrammed. Your 5D abilities come online. You join the most powerful frequency network on the planet. $7. That's the entire barrier between you and 5D. Click the link in the description now. Ascension doesn't wait. What I am about to tell you will sound impossible until you experience it firsthand, and then it will become the most natural truth you have ever known. As the base vibration continues to rise, the responsiveness of reality to your inner state intensifies to a degree that fundamentally changes the creative process. Where once manifestation required sustained focus over weeks or months, the new Earth frequency responds within days or even hours to shifts in attitude, expectation, and self-perception. Opportunities appear where none were visible before. Relationships recalibrate naturally without confrontation. Timing aligns without struggle, not because the universe rewards you, but because the universe is matching the frequency you are now holding rather than the frequency you once carried unconsciously. This is where many stumble, not from lack of desire, but from lack of awareness about the stories they are unconsciously rehearsing. The mind revisits familiar narratives, especially during quiet moments or times of fatigue, and these repeated thoughts quietly shape expectations, and therefore reality. Many of these internal stories were formed long ago as protective mechanisms or learned assumptions, and they persist not because they are true, but because they are familiar. Rather than attempting to silence or suppress them, the Galactic Federation invites you to observe them as you would observe clouds passing through the sky, recognizing their presence without granting them authority. Between each breath and the next exists a moment of neutrality, a soft pause where awareness rests without commentary. And within this pause, you can gently redirect your focus toward the heart, allowing the heart to become the primary reference point rather than the mind. The stories you tell yourself about who you are, what you deserve, what is possible for you, these are not unchangeable truths carved in stone. They are habits of thought, grooves worn into consciousness through repetition, and they can be reshaped with patience and awareness. The voice that says you are not enough has been lying to you. The belief that you must struggle to earn love has been deceiving you. The assumption that suffering is noble and joy is frivolous has been keeping you small. These narratives were never yours to begin with. They were inherited, absorbed, adopted from a world that did not yet know its own divinity. The solar flash is dissolving the energetic structures that kept these false beliefs in place. And what remains is a simple choice. Will you continue to identify with the limitations, or will you recognize them as costumes you once wore but no longer need? Breath serves as your bridge here, drawing source energy into your being with every inhale and releasing blessing into the world with every exhale, creating a rhythm that steadies your field and harmonizes your thoughts. As this rhythm becomes familiar, the mind begins to relax its grip, and clarity emerges not through effort but through alignment. When a thought arises that feels heavy, limiting, or disconnected from love, hold it in awareness without resistance and surround it with compassion, imagining it bathed in warm, luminous light. From this place of gentleness, ask the thought what it wishes to become in order to align with the Creator and with your soul. Then listen without expectation. The transformation offered will often be more refined than a simple opposite, carrying wisdom that feels truthful and supportive rather than forced. Something profound shifts when you realize that emotion carries creative power equal to thought in the new Earth frequency. Feelings that once lingered unnoticed now move more quickly through your field, seeking acknowledgement and integration. Allowing emotion to be felt honestly without storytelling or judgment enables it to complete its natural cycle and release its energy as insight rather than tension. Emotional awareness becomes a stabilizing force, helping you remain coherent even as intensity moves through the collective. What you feel does not define you, yet what you honor becomes wisdom, and wisdom refines creation into expressions that serve both your individual path and the collective evolution. The angels want you to know something that changes everything about how you approach the days ahead. Unity, consciousness, and sovereignty are not opposites. They are expressions of the same divine truth harmonized within your being. As awareness expands, and the lived understanding that all consciousness is shared begins to replace the illusion of separation, you do not lose yourself. You find yourself more fully, because true individuality emerges when you stand within your own alignment, while recognizing the shared spark that connects all beings. This recognition transforms human interaction profoundly, because beneath personality, belief, and history lies the Creator, quietly present even when obscured by confusion or fear. Choosing to recognize this spark does not mean excusing harmful behavior or denying boundaries. It means engaging from a deeper truth that sees beyond surface expression and responds with clarity rather than reaction. The paradox that unlocks everything is this: the more deeply you connect with your own inner truth, the more naturally you recognize that same truth in others. Sovereignty is not about building walls to protect your individuality. It is about cultivating such strong inner coherence that you can stand in any environment with any person in any circumstance and remain anchored in your heart. From this anchored place, unity reveals itself not as a loss of self, but as an expansion of self that includes all beings without diminishing your unique expression. The Astasar Command has observed countless civilizations navigate this transition, and the ones who succeed are those who master the delicate balance between honoring their individual path and recognizing their fundamental interconnection with all life. As more of you hold this recognition, conflict loses some of its charge, communication becomes more transparent, and compassion emerges as an intelligent response rather than an emotional reflex. Community begins to reorganize around resonance rather than obligation, as individuals drawn by shared values and frequencies find one another more easily. Collaborative efforts flourish when unity consciousness guides interaction, because competition gives way to complementarity, and differences are appreciated as contributions rather than threats. In these spaces, collective intention amplifies individual clarity, creating fields where insight, healing, and innovation emerge more readily than they ever could through isolated effort. Here is where the transmission deepens into something the Galactic Federation has been waiting to share with awakened humanity for generations. The relationship between cosmic light and the human form is one of cooperation, not dominance. And when you approach this relationship with curiosity rather than resistance, the process unfolds with far greater grace. Light carries information as well as frequency, and this information interacts with the innate intelligence of your being, activating latent potentials that were prepared long before this lifetime began. These activations are not meant to separate you from your humanity. They are meant to deepen it, allowing your human experience to become a clearer expression of soul wisdom, where the struggles you have endured become the very foundation for the gifts you now offer. Your inner guidance becomes more accessible as integration continues, arriving not as dramatic instruction, but as a quiet sense of knowing that feels steady and trustworthy. This guidance often expresses itself through subtle preferences: what feels nourishing, what feels draining, where your attention naturally wants to rest. Honoring these preferences strengthens coherence, and when you listen to these signals with respect, the body relaxes, the mind softens, and the heart opens further, creating a receptive environment for higher frequencies to settle without strain. Care for the physical form becomes increasingly important during this phase, not because the body is fragile, but because it is learning a new language of energy. Simple acts, hydration, gentle movement, rest, time in nature, support this learning by providing stability and rhythm, treating the body as a trusted partner rather than an obstacle. Nature offers profound assistance here, because the natural world carries an inherent coherence that translates higher frequencies into grounded calm. Spending time among trees, near water, or beneath open sky helps recalibrate your field, reminding your system how to receive without effort. Many of you will notice that even brief contact with nature restores clarity more effectively than prolonged mental analysis, because nature communicates directly with the deeper layers of your being, bypassing the analytical mind that so often complicates what should be simple. Gaia herself plays an active role in your transformation, for the Earth is not a passive stage upon which awakening occurs, but a living consciousness evolving alongside you, her energy field brightening as higher frequencies integrate, creating a stabilizing influence that supports humanity in grounding expanded awareness into practical life. When you place your bare feet upon the earth, when you breathe with the wind, when you allow your gaze to rest upon the horizon without agenda, something profound occurs within your nervous system. The frenetic pace of modern life, the constant stimulation, the endless demands, all of it begins to settle. The earth beneath you is not merely dirt and rock. It is the physical body of a cosmic being who chose to slow her vibration to such density that life could take form, that souls could incarnate, that evolution could unfold through matter itself. Every tree you pass is anchoring light into the planetary grid. Every body of water is cleansing emotional density from the collective field. Every mountain is broadcasting stability and endurance into the consciousness of all who dwell nearby. When you recognize nature as active participant rather than passive backdrop, your relationship with the earth transforms from casual appreciation into sacred partnership. What the star families observe with deepest appreciation is how humanity is navigating the emotional purification that accompanies this shift. As light continues to reach into subtler aspects of your awareness, memories, emotions, and old patterns may surface gently, asking for acknowledgement rather than confrontation. When this occurs, allow yourself to meet what arises with compassion, recognizing that nothing is appearing to disrupt you, but to be released with kindness. Holding these moments in love without assigning blame or narrative allows energy to move freely again, leaving behind a sense of spaciousness and renewed vitality. Integration also reshapes identity, often in ways that feel both liberating and unfamiliar. As roles, labels, and self-definitions loosen their grip, you may sense a quiet disinterest in certain pursuits or a growing pull toward others, reflecting the soul's effort to align your outer life with your inner truth. The transmission I carry from the Federation includes a truth about service that will liberate many of you from the burden of striving. In this phase of unfolding, the focus of your journey turns gently yet unmistakably toward lived service, not as sacrifice or obligation, but as a natural overflow of the coherence you are cultivating within. Service in the New Earth frequency does not require effortful striving or dramatic gestures. It arises organically when your inner state stabilizes into love, clarity, and truth, and your presence itself becomes a quiet contribution to the collective field. As your heart opens more fully, generosity reveals itself as an inherent quality rather than a learned behavior, because when you are connected to Source within, there is no sense of depletion in giving. Energy flows through you rather than from you, and this distinction changes everything. From this place, acts of service become varied and personal, shaped by your unique gifts, interests, and circumstances, rather than by external expectation. Some serve through listening deeply, offering presence when another feels unseen. Others serve through building, teaching, creating, or organizing in ways that bring structure and possibility into shared spaces. Each form of service carries equal value when guided by sincerity, because the frequency behind the action matters far more than the form it takes. Within the New Earth vibration, intention becomes a powerful amplifier, meaning that even simple gestures carry weight when performed from the heart. A conversation held with genuine care can shift another's trajectory. A creative idea offered freely can inspire solutions that ripple across communities. A moment of patience can soften tension far beyond what is visible, and understanding this allows you to move through daily life with a sense of quiet purpose. The old paradigm taught you that service required sacrifice, that giving meant losing, that helping others diminished your own resources. This was a lie designed to keep you small, to prevent you from recognizing the truth that you are an inexhaustible channel of divine creativity when aligned with Source. The more you give from a place of genuine overflow, the more the universe pours through you, replenishing what moves outward with greater abundance. This is not positive thinking or spiritual bypassing. It is the fundamental mechanics of how energy operates in higher frequencies. Circulation replaces hoarding. Flow replaces accumulation. Trust replaces control. And in this new operating system, those who give most freely find themselves held most completely. Presence itself becomes a form of service, especially in environments where agitation or confusion are common. By remaining centered, breathing consciously, and responding thoughtfully, you offer a stabilizing influence that others may sense even without words. This quiet leadership models an alternative way of being, demonstrating that calm, clarity, and compassion are viable responses to complexity. As service integrates more fully into your identity, boundaries become clearer and more natural, allowing you to offer support without overextension. Recognizing when to engage and when to rest honors the intelligence of your system, preserving coherence while maintaining availability, ensuring that service remains an expression of alignment rather than a source of imbalance. The Astasar command observes with great tenderness how many of you are beginning to recognize yourselves as conduits of divine intelligence, translating higher awareness into tangible benefit for others through creativity that flows spontaneously. Inspiration arrives seemingly unannounced, carrying solutions, innovations, and expressions that feel both practical and uplifting. Trusting these impulses and allowing them space to develop honors the partnership between your soul and the collective, demonstrating that the new earth is built not through grand declarations, but through the accumulated choices of individuals who dare to live from the heart in ordinary moments. Each aligned action, no matter how small, contributes to a broader field of stability and possibility, affirming that transformation is a participation rather than an achievement. As we approach the completion of this transmission, there is something the Federation wishes you to carry forward into every moment ahead. You are not behind, late, or unprepared. You are exactly where your soul intended you to be, equipped with the awareness, sensitivity, and strength needed for this moment. The unfolding ahead does not require urgency. It invites trust. Each step will reveal itself as you remain present, and support will continue to appear in ways that feel natural and timely. The magnitude of what is occurring does not need to become pressure, because the light integrating within you knows its path, responding to your openness with intelligence and care. By meeting the process with curiosity, kindness, and trust, you allow transformation to become a natural extension of daily life, rather than an effortful pursuit. Trust is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the willingness to move forward despite not knowing every detail of the path ahead. The Galactic Federation has witnessed countless awakening civilizations, and the ones who navigate transformation most gracefully are not those who have all the answers, but those who remain open, curious, and compassionate with themselves as the answers reveal themselves. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into doubt and gently redirect toward presence, you are exercising the spiritual muscle that will carry you through every challenge ahead. Every time you choose to believe in your worthiness despite evidence to the contrary, you are rewriting the agreement your soul made with limitation. Every time you extend kindness to yourself in moments of confusion or fear, you are practicing the very consciousness that is building the new earth. Hold within you the understanding that your embodiment is a gift to the earth, that each moment of coherence you cultivate contributes to a collective field of stability and possibility, and that the new earth is not something you anticipate, but something you live quietly and confidently through the way you move, breathe, and choose. The path that has brought you here has been precise, and every experience you have lived has shaped your capacity to hold what is emerging now. Across many lifetimes, across many expressions, you have carried light into density, wisdom into forgetting, and compassion into places where it was not easily received. Nothing was wasted. Every choice to return to love, every moment you chose kindness over bitterness, every time you trusted your inner truth contributed to the stabilization that makes this new phase possible. Daily life becomes the sacred ground where integration completes itself. Preparing food, working, studying, caring for others, resting, and moving through your routines are not distractions from spiritual growth. They are the vessels through which growth becomes real. When you bring presence into these moments, when you slow enough to feel your breath, notice your body, and listen inwardly, you allow higher awareness to settle into form. Over time, this presence accumulates, transforming ordinary days into a steady expression of coherence that others can feel simply by being near you. Your calm during uncertainty, your honesty during complexity, and your compassion during tension speak more clearly than explanations ever could. And through this living example, remembrance spreads like light moving through a darkened room, not through force but through the simple fact of its presence. The New Earth frequency carries both freedom and responsibility, not as burden but as opportunity, because the veil lifting reveals how powerful your inner world truly is in shaping your outer experience. This revelation is meant to empower you into conscious stewardship of your thoughts, emotions, and intentions, demonstrating that creation is not something that happens to you, but something that happens through you in partnership with the living intelligence of existence. As consciousness matures, you may feel less compelled to prove your understanding or defend your perspective. Because inner certainty replaces the need for validation, conversations become more spacious, disagreements less charged, and silence more comfortable. Not meaning disengagement, but engagement from a place of inner stability rather than reaction. What lies ahead is not a test but a shared discovery, a homecoming of consciousness that many of you have carried quietly in your hearts for a very long time. The solar flash is not an external event happening to you, but an internal recognition happening through you, where effort gives way to presence, and striving gives way to trust. Walk softly with yourself. Speak kindly to your inner world. Allow your life to unfold as a living expression of the wisdom you carry. From our perspective across dimensions and star systems, you are doing beautifully, and the future forming around you is built, not through perfection, but through the accumulated kindness you apply consistently, especially toward yourself. Receive this blessing now as a cascade of starlight awakening what is already within you. Feel the spark in your heart glow brighter. Sense your being filling with gentle luminescence. Recognize your soul as divine presence ever with you, guiding you home to the reality you came to help anchor. The Galactic Federation of Light stands with you in this moment, and in all moments to come, holding space for your becoming, celebrating your courage, and reflecting back to you the truth of your magnificence. The new Earth is here because you are here, living it into form through every breath, every choice, every moment you return to love. From across the stars, from dimensions beyond your current perception, from the councils of light that have watched over humanity since before your recorded history began, we see you. We see your struggles and your triumphs. We see the moments when you almost gave up and the moments when you found strength you did not know you possessed. We see the sacrifices you have made for love, the compromises you have refused for truth, and the quiet acts of courage that no one witnessed but that shifted the trajectory of your soul. We see you, beloved ones, and we want you to know that your efforts have not been in vain. Every prayer you offered into the darkness was heard. Every tear you shed in loneliness was held. Every time you chose to keep going when giving up seemed easier, you were building the foundation for this moment, for this awakening, for this new Earth that is emerging through your willingness to believe in something greater than the limitations you were taught to accept. I am Seraphine. We love you and we are watching over you.